All right, so you want to know about Onyxcoin?
Yeah.
Well, you sent over articles, charts, even FAQs.
Oh, wow.
So we really went deep on this one.
That's awesome.
To give everyone a little background, Onyxcoin, also known as XCN, is the governance and utility token for the Onyx Protocol.
Right, and the Onyx Protocol...
asset.
Right.
If you're holding XCN, it lets you vote on proposals that will shape the protocol.
Yeah.
And it's also used for various functions on the platform.
Definitely.
But I think we should address the elephant in the room,
Good.
which is the price.
The pro.
Onyxcoin is currently sitting at 0.0022 tel today.
Okay.
Some sources show a slight bump in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 0.5% to just over 1%.
Okay.
But when you zoom out a bit, it's down almost 12% in the past week.
Yes.
And that recent dip has had people wondering what's going on.
It's a big change. Yeah.
Especially when you consider that back in May 2022,
Okay.
it hit an all-time high of $0.18.
Wow.
That's a 98% difference compared to where it is today.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And then we can't forget the all-time low of 0.0007 cents
All right.
just a couple of months ago in October 2023.
Yeah.
So it's been a roller coaster, to say the least.
That is volatile.
I think to really understand those swings, we need some context.
Yeah, for sure.
What was going on back when they hit that all-time high?
Well, in May 2022, the entire crypto market was experiencing a period of very rapid growth.
Okay.
A lot of exuberance out there. There was a lot of hype around DeFi. And Onyxcoin, with its own innovative approach to lending and borrowing, kind of rode that wave of enthusiasm.
That makes sense.
But as we've seen time and time again with crypto, what goes up must come down.
Right. That's the nature of the beast.
Exactly.
So what contributed to the downturn?
I think a combination of factors, really, including macroeconomic headwinds, concerns about regulations,
Okay.
and I think a general cooling off of the DeFi hype.
Right. And then, of course, in October 2023, we saw the FTX collapse.
Oh, yeah.
That sent shockwaves through the entire crypto ecosystem.
It really shook a lot of people's confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think that collapse highlighted?
Well, I think it really highlighted the importance of transparency, security, and due diligence when it comes to crypto projects.
Definitely.
Which brings us back to Onyxcoin.
Okay.
I think understanding its price history, both the highs and the lows, can give us some valuable insight into its potential and its risks.
All right, so we got this dramatic backstory.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we actually assess Onyxcoin's value.
Okay.
The first thing that jumps out to me is the market cap.
Yeah.
Right now, it's hovering around $68 million,
Okay.
which puts it somewhere between 550th and 688th in the rankings, depending on the source you're looking at.
Wow.
Can you explain what market cap is for those who aren't familiar?
Sure. So market cap is essentially the total value of all the XCN tokens that are in circulation.
You calculate it by multiplying the current price of a single XCN token by the total number of tokens that are out there?
So it gives us a snapshot of the project's overall size and perceived value, but it doesn't tell the whole story.
Of course not.
To really understand Onyxcoin's potential, we need to look at what makes it unique.
Okay.
And that starts with the Onyx Protocol itself.
Absolutely.
We've mentioned before that it's a decentralized platform for peer-to-peer lending and borrowing.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting to me is the range of assets it supports. We're not just talking about lending and borrowing Bitcoin or Ether.
Right.
Onyx Protocol handles a variety of different digital assets, including ERC-20 tokens,
Okay.
ERC-721 tokens, which are NFTs, and even ERC-1155 tokens.
Wow.
That's a lot of different options for both borrowers and lenders.
Yes, it is.
So NFTs as collateral.
Right.
I mean, imagine taking out a loan and using your Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT as collateral. That feels like a game changer. It does.
But how does that actually work?
Well, the protocol leverages smart contracts
to
create these trustless agreements between borrowers and lenders. So when you borrow against an NFT, that NFT is essentially locked up in a smart contract until you repay the loan.
So it's kind of like putting your prized possession in a pawn shop.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's all done digitally and secured by blockchain technology.
Exactly.
But like any loan, there are risks involved, right?
Oh, of course.
The value of NFTs can fluctuate wildly.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine you take out a loan against an NFT that's worth, say, $10,000.
Okay.
But then the market crashes and that NFT's value plummets to $1,000.
Yeah.
Then you would be stuck with a loan that's worth more than the collateral backing it.
You would.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the challenges that Onyx Protocol needs to address.
So they need some robust risk assessment models to evaluate the value of these NFTs.
For sure.
To determine the appropriate loan-to-value ratios. Absolutely. They can't just take anyone's word for it.
What are they exploring to address this?
Well, they're exploring different approaches, including the use of oracles, which are essentially these data feeds that provide real-time information about asset prices.
Sort of a live feed of what's happening in the market.
Exactly.
Are they doing anything else?
Yeah, they could also implement mechanisms like liquidation thresholds, where if the value of that NFT collateral drops below a certain point, it's automatically sold to protect the lender.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they're trying to mitigate those risks.
Okay.
But I think there are still a lot of unknowns.
How does all of this affect the average XCN holder?
Well, the success of the Onyx Protocol is directly tied to the value of XCN.
Okay.
So if the protocol thrives, attracting more users, facilitating more loans, then the demand for XCN is likely to increase.
Okay.
Potentially driving up its price.
But on the flip side, if the protocol struggles, or there are security breaches, or issues with NFT valuations, the value of XCN could suffer.
Yeah.
So it's high risk, high reward.
I think that's a fair assessment.
But it's not just about speculation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, XCN also gives you governance rights.
It does.
You get a voice in shaping the future of the protocol.
Yeah, it's like being a shareholder in a company.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of Onyxcoin and the Onyx Protocol, including this fascinating world of NFTs as collateral.
Yeah.
But there's still so much more to explore.
Of course.
What about the tokenomics?
Okay.
We mentioned that XCN has this dual role as both a governance token and a utility token.
Right.
But how does that actually play out?
Well, let's break it down. On the governance side, XCN holders can vote on proposals that affect the protocol, such as changes to fees, the addition of new assets, or even major upgrades to the platform's functionality.
So it's kind of like a democracy where every token holder has a voice.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
And the more XCN you hold, the more voting power you have.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
That ensures that those who are most invested in the protocol have the greatest influence over its direction.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the utility side?
Okay.
How is XCN used within the protocol itself?
That's where things get a little more technical.
Okay.
XCN can be used to pay for transaction fees on the platform. It can also be staked to earn rewards and to support the network security. And then some proposals might even involve using XCN to fund development initiatives or community projects.
So it's kind of like the fuel that keeps the whole system running smoothly.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy.
But I keep hearing these conflicting reports about how these tokens are allocated.
Okay.
Some say that a large chunk is held by the DAO and the Treasury, while others claim that most of the supply is in circulation.
Right.
So what's the real story here?
That's a great question.
And how does it impact the price?
Yeah, it's one that often leads to a lot of confusion.
Okay.
Let's start with the facts.
Okay.
The maximum supply of XCN is capped at 48 billion tokens.
Okay.
Currently, around 31 billion tokens are in circulation, which means that roughly 17 billion tokens are not yet available to the public.
Okay, so a significant portion of the total supply is still locked up somewhere.
Yeah.
Where exactly are those tokens and who controls them?
Well, that's where the DAO and the Treasury come in.
Okay.
The DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization, is essentially a community-governed entity that holds a portion of the XCN tokens and uses them to fund development, marketing, and other initiatives aimed at growing the Onyx Protocol.
So it's like a community-run investment fund that's dedicated to the project's success.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the Treasury.
Right.
What's that?
Well, the Treasury is a separate reserve of XCN tokens.
Okay.
That can be used for a variety of purposes, such as providing liquidity to the market, supporting new partnerships, or even buying back tokens to reduce the supply and potentially increase the price.
So it's like a rainy day fund that can be used strategically to benefit the project and its token holders.
Exactly.
And how these tokens are managed and allocated can have a significant impact on the price of XCN.
It can.
If the DAO and the Treasury are well managed and transparent in their operation, It can instill confidence in the project and potentially lead to a higher valuation. But if there are concerns about mismanagement or a lack of transparency or even just uncertainty about how these tokens will be used,
of course,
that could create selling pressure and negatively impact the price.
Exactly.
So it's all about trust and transparency.
It is.
If token holders believe that the DAO and the Treasury are acting in their best interests, they're more likely to hold on to their XCN, even buy more.
Right.
But if they lose faith in the system, it could lead to a sell-off.
Absolutely.
That's why it's so important to understand the tokenomics of any crypto project you're considering investing in.
Yeah, it's not just about the price. It's about the underlying mechanics that drive that price.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But one thing that keeps popping up is the role of the community. Onyx Protocol is often described as a community-driven project.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean in practice?
Okay.
Are we talking about a few passionate individuals tweeting about it?
Right.
Or is there something more substantial going on here?
It's definitely more than a few tweets.
Okay.
The Onyx Protocol community is quite active and engaged, especially on platforms like Reddit and Telegram.
So what are they doing on those platforms?
Well, they're constantly discussing the project, sharing ideas, and even contributing to its development through open source contributions.
So it's like a decentralized think tank where everyone's working together to make the project better.
I like that.
But let's be real. The crypto world is full of projects that claim to be community-driven.
Right.
But in reality, it's just a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
So how can we be sure that Onyx Protocol's community is genuinely contributing to the project's success?
That's where transparency comes in.
Right.
Onyx Protocol publishes regular updates about its development progress, financial reports, and community initiatives. And they also encourage open communication and feedback from the community.
So anyone can see what's going on behind the scenes.
Pretty much, yeah.
That level of transparency is crucial for building trust.
It is.
And ensuring that the community feels like they are truly a part of something special.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we've covered the basics of Onyxcoin, the Onyx Protocol, NFTs as collateral,
yes,
the tokenomics, and the importance of the community.
Right.
But you're probably wondering, is this something worth investing in?
Yeah.
Should I buy XCN?
Should I?
Well, we're not here to give financial advice.
Right.
But we can give you the tools and information you need to make an informed decision.
Exactly. We've laid the groundwork, but the real deep dive starts now.
All right, so let's dive into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
We'll explore those enticing staking returns of 41.85%.
Yeah.
Uncover what's driving the social media buzz.
Okay.
And analyze how Onyx Protocol fits into the larger DeFi landscape.
Sounds good.
And we'll even touch on those interesting political perspectives on credit card interest rates.
Right.
And how Onyx Protocol might offer an alternative.
That should be fascinating.
Buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting.
I'm ready. Okay, so let's talk about that 41.85% staking return.
Yeah, it almost seems too good to be true.
Right.
So for those who might not be familiar, can you just quickly explain how staking works?
Sure. Staking is essentially the process of locking up your XCN tokens to help secure the network. And in return for providing this service, you earn rewards in the form of additional XCN tokens.
So why are the returns so high?
Well, it's often due to a combination of factors,
Okay.
including the relatively new and volatile nature of the project, the need to incentivize early adopters to secure the network,
Right.
and also the potential for future price appreciation.
So it's like being an early investor in a promising startup.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
You're taking on more risk, but you also have the potential for greater rewards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's important to understand the risks involved.
Right.
The price of XCN could drop,
Yeah.
eroding the value of your staked tokens. There's also the risk of smart contract vulnerabilities,
Right.
or even the possibility that the Onyx Protocol itself could fail.
Okay. So it's not just free money. They're putting your capital at risk.
Yes,
And you need to be comfortable with that level of risk before diving in.
you do.
Okay, speaking of risks,
Yeah.
we touched on social media sentiment earlier. You mentioned there's a lot of buzz around Onyxcoin,
There is.
but it's kind of a mixed bag of opinions.
Yeah.
Some people are super bullish,
Right.
while others are predicting doom and gloom. So how do you make sense of all that noise?
Well, social media can be a valuable tool for gauging the overall sentiment around a project,
Right.
but it's important to take it with a grain of salt. There's often a lot of noise, hype, and misinformation circulating online.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the hype or panic.
Right.
Based on what you're reading on Twitter or Reddit.
Yeah, you really have to filter out the noise and focus on the signals.
So what are some of the signals you look for?
I look for thoughtful analysis,
Okay.
well-researched articles, and discussions from reputable sources within the community.
So don't just blindly follow the crowd.
No.
Do your own due diligence and form your own conclusions.
Exactly.
Okay, so social media is just one piece of the puzzle.
It is.
We need to consider a wide range of factors.
Of course.
Including the project's technology,
right,
its team, its tokenomics, and its overall market positioning.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit and talk about how Onyx Protocol fits into the larger DeFi landscape.
Okay.
So we've talked about its unique approach to lending and borrowing,
right,
especially with the use of NFTs as collateral.
Yeah.
But how does it stack up against the competition?
It's a great question.
What are its strengths and weaknesses compared to other DeFi platforms?
So the DeFi space is incredibly competitive, with new platforms and protocols emerging all the time.
Right.
I think one of Onyx Protocol's key strengths is its focus on a wide range of assets, including NFTs. So this gives it a broader appeal.
Okay.
And potentially opens up new use cases that other platforms haven't really explored.
So it's not just playing in the same sandbox as everyone else.
Yeah.
It's trying to create its own niche.
Exactly. Well, another strength, I think, is its commitment to community involvement and transparency. As we discussed earlier, the Onyx Protocol community is highly active and engaged.
Right.
And the project prioritizes open communication and feedback.
Okay. But every project has its weaknesses.
It does.
What are some of the challenges that Onyx Protocol might face?
Well, scalability is a key challenge for any DeFi platform.
Okay.
As the network grows and more users join, the protocol needs to be able to handle the increased volume of transactions quickly and efficiently.
Right. No one wants to wait hours or days for their transactions to go through.
Exactly.
Okay. What else?
Another challenge, I think, is user experience.
Okay.
Decentralized platforms can be complex and intimidating for newcomers. So Onyx Protocol will need to find ways to make its platform more user-friendly and accessible to a wider audience if it wants to truly compete.
It's like that saying, build it and they will come.
Yeah.
Doesn't always apply in the tech world.
Right.
You need to make it easy and intuitive for people to use. You do.
Anything else?
Well, there's also the regulatory landscape, which is constantly evolving and can create uncertainty for any crypto project.
Speaking of regulations, we came across this really interesting article about Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump surprisingly agreeing on something.
Oh, wow. What's that?
Concerns about high credit card interest rates.
Okay.
It got me thinking, could decentralized lending platforms like Onyx Protocol offer a potential solution?
That's a fascinating connection.
Yeah.
I mean, while they had different solutions in mind, their shared concern highlights a real problem. Onyx Protocol, with its focus on peer-to-peer lending, could potentially disrupt the traditional credit card industry.
So instead of going through a bank and paying those high interest rates, you could borrow money directly from someone else through a decentralized platform like Onyx Protocol.
Exactly.
And because these platforms are built on blockchain technology,
they can offer more transparent and potentially lower cost lending options.
It can.
But wouldn't that require a massive shift in how people think about finance?
It would.
Most people are used to dealing with banks and credit card companies.
Yeah.
So getting them to trust a decentralized platform might be a challenge.
It's definitely a paradigm shift. I think we'd need a lot more education and awareness about decentralized finance for it to truly go mainstream.
But you know that article we read about how digital collateral is revolutionizing credit in emerging markets?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's happening right now.
It is.
I mean, you're talking about people using their smartphones as collateral to borrow money.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It might seem unconventional.
It does.
But it highlights a crucial point.
What's that?
People are looking for alternative ways to access credit, especially in regions where traditional financial systems are limited.
Okay, so Onyx Protocol and its integration of NFTs could tap into that same need for innovative financial solutions.
It could.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just about emerging markets.
Right.
Even in developed countries, there's a growing segment of the population that's disenfranchised by the traditional financial system.
They are.
They're looking for more accessible, transparent, and affordable options.
They are.
So Onyx Protocol could be part of a larger movement towards financial inclusion and empowerment.
It really could be.
But it's not just about the technology.
No, it's not.
It's also about building trust,
right?
Ensuring security, and creating a user-friendly experience that appeals to a wide range of people.
Yeah, I agree.
And speaking of trust and security,
yeah,
we can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Right.
The hacks and security breaches that have plagued the crypto world. So how can Onyx Protocol assure users that their funds are safe?
Okay.
And that the platform itself is secure?
Well, that's a crucial question, and one that Onyx Protocol takes very seriously.
Okay.
They've implemented some pretty robust security measures.
Okay, like what?
Including regular audits of their smart contracts,
Okay.
multi-signature wallets for fund management, and bug bounty programs to incentivize the community to help identify and report vulnerabilities.
So they're not just saying they're secure.
Right.
They're actually taking concrete steps to back it up.
They are, and they're constantly working to improve their security protocols as new threats emerge.
It's reassuring.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, no system is 100% foolproof.
That's true.
There's always a risk.
Yeah.
And that's something potential users need to be aware of.
They do.
Now, I'm curious about the team behind Onyx Protocol.
Okay.
Who are these people building this innovative platform?
Right.
What's their background, and what's their vision for the future?
That's where things get a little mysterious.
Oh, how so?
Unlike some crypto projects with well-known founders and a public-facing team, Onyx Protocol seems to be more community-driven.
Okay.
It's described as a decentralized project launched by a group of developers, and the source linked is open source.
So anyone can contribute to its development.
Yes.
So it's less about a single charismatic leader.
Right.
And more about a collective effort from a passionate community.
It is, and it reflects a core philosophy of decentralization.
Okay.
But it also raises questions about accountability and transparency.
What kind of questions?
Well, like, who's ultimately responsible for the decisions being made about the protocol's development?
Right.
How can users be sure that the code is secure and free from vulnerabilities?
Okay, so these are important considerations for anyone looking to invest in or use Onyx Protocol.
They are.
I mean, transparency is key, especially when we're talking about something as important as finance.
Absolutely.
But hey, a little mystery can also be intriguing.
Right? It certainly adds to the allure.
And let's not forget, the crypto world has a history of anonymous creators in decentralized communities, achieving remarkable things.
Yeah.
I mean, Bitcoin itself is a prime example. Sometimes the best ideas come from unexpected places.
Right.
But speaking of ideas, what about Onyx Protocol's long-term vision?
Well, their stated goal is to build a smarter and internally connected economy.
Oh,
they want to create a world where financial products and services are more accessible, transparent, and efficient.
It's a bold vision.
It is.
But how do they plan to get there?
Well, one area they're focusing on is expanding the range of assets supported by the protocol. So they're looking beyond just cryptocurrencies and NFTs to potentially include things like real estate, intellectual property, and even physical goods.
So you could potentially borrow against the value of your house.
Yeah, potentially.
Or even a patent on a new invention.
You could.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
What else are they working on?
They're also working on developing new features and functionalities within the protocol.
Okay, like what?
Such as decentralized insurance and prediction markets.
Whoa. Hold on, decentralized insurance? What does that even mean?
It's a concept where insurance policies are managed and executed through smart contracts on a blockchain rather than by traditional insurance companies.
So what would that look like in practice?
Well, it could potentially lead to lower premiums, faster claims processing, and increased transparency.
So in prediction markets?
Yeah.
Is that like betting on the outcome of events?
In a way, yes, but it's more sophisticated than that. Prediction markets leverage the wisdom of the crowd to forecast future events and trends. They've been used to predict everything from election results to product sales.
So imagine a decentralized platform where you could participate in these prediction markets using XCN.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
But let's face it, building a smarter and internally connected economy is a massive undertaking.
It is.
Are there any partnerships or collaborations that could help Onyx Protocol achieve its goals?
Well, they've been strategically partnering with other projects and organizations within the blockchain space.
Okay.
And these partnerships provide access to new technologies.
Okay.
Expand their reach to a wider audience.
Right.
And bring valuable expertise to the table.
So strength in numbers.
Exactly.
But let's not forget about the community.
Right.
We talked about how Onyx Protocol is community-driven.
Yeah.
But how active and engaged is that community?
Well, the community seems to be quite active, especially on platforms like Twitter, Telegram, and Reddit.
Okay, and what are they doing on those platforms?
They're discussing the project, sharing ideas, and even contributing to its development through open source contributions.
So it's like a hive mind working together to build something truly innovative.
I like that, yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the investment potential of Onyxcoin.
All right.
So we know the price has been volatile.
Yeah.
But what are some of the factors that could drive its future value?
Well, increased adoption of the Onyx Protocol is a key factor.
Okay.
As more users join the platform and utilize its lending and borrowing features, demand for XCN is likely to increase, potentially driving up the price.
So it's all about the network effect.
Yeah. The more people using it, the more valuable it becomes.
What else?
Well, another factor is the development of new features and functionalities within the protocol. So as Onyx Protocol expands its offerings and becomes more versatile, it could attract a wider range of users and investors, further boosting the value of XCN.
So it's not just a one-trick pony.
Right.
It's constantly evolving and adding value.
Exactly.
I like that.
Good.
And let's not underestimate the power of hype and speculation in the crypto world.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, positive news coverage, endorsements from influential figures, and even just a general buzz around the project can significantly impact the price of XCN. It's like the fear of missing out, or FOMO, can drive up prices, even if the underlying technology hasn't changed much.
It can.
But what about the risks?
Okay.
What are some of the things that could negatively impact the value of Onyxcoin?
Well, competition is a major risk.
Okay.
As we discussed earlier, there are many other DeFi lending platforms out there vying for market share.
Right.
So if Onyx Protocol fails to innovate or keep up with the competition, it could lose users and see the value of XCN decline.
It's a constant race to stay ahead of the curve.
It is.
What else should potential investors be aware of?
Well, security vulnerabilities are a major concern for any blockchain project.
Right.
So if Onyx Protocol were to experience a major hack or security breach, it could severely damage the project's reputation and lead to a loss of user funds, sending the price of XCN plummeting.
Yeah. Trust is everything in the crypto world.
It is.
Once that trust is broken, it's hard to rebuild it. Are there any other risks that we should be aware of?
Well, regulatory uncertainty is always looming over the crypto industry. Governments around the world are still grappling with how to regulate cryptocurrencies and DeFi platforms.
Right.
So unfavorable regulations or a crackdown on the industry could have a significant negative impact on the value of XCN.
It's like playing a game where the rules are constantly changing.
Yeah.
Talk about a risky investment.
It is a risky investment.
So if someone's considering investing in Onyxcoin, what advice would you give them?
I would say do your own research. Don't just rely on what you hear from others or read on social media.
Right.
Dive into the project's white paper, understand its technology, assess the team's capabilities, and consider the potential risks and rewards.
Solid advice.
Thanks.
Knowledge is power, especially in the wild world of crypto.
It is.
What about you? Do you personally believe in the long-term potential of Onyxcoin and the Onyx Protocol?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think the integration of NFTs into a decentralized lending and borrowing platform is a truly innovative concept with the potential to disrupt traditional finance.
Right.
But there are also significant challenges and risks that need to be addressed.
So it's a fascinating journey to watch unfold.
It is.
We'll definitely be keeping our eyes on Onyxcoin in the coming months and years.
Me too.
This space moves so quickly. Who knows what innovations will emerge next?
Yeah, that's what makes it so captivating.
Exactly. And it's why we do these deep dives to help you navigate this complex and exciting landscape.
Absolutely.
But we're not done yet.
Oh.
We've explored the present and the past.
Yeah.
But what about the future of Onyxcoin?
Okay.
What's on the horizon for this ambitious project?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Onyx Protocol is not content with just being another DeFi platform. They have a much grander vision.
What's that?
Interoperability.
Interoperability.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot in the crypto world.
It does get used quite a bit.
What does it actually mean?
In the context of Onyx Protocol.
Yeah.
Well, it's about breaking down the walls between different blockchain networks.
Okay.
Right now, the crypto space is kind of like a collection of islands.
Okay.
You got Bitcoin over here, Ethereum over there,
right,
and a bunch of other blockchains all operating independently.
So it's like trying to travel between countries that don't recognize each other's passports or currencies?
Yeah.
That sounds like a major headache.
It can be.
So interoperability aims to solve that.
It does.
So create bridges and protocols that allow these different blockchains to communicate and interact seamlessly.
So imagine being able to move your assets and data between different blockchains.
Yeah.
As easily as sending an email.
Right.
That would be a game changer.
I think it would unlock a whole new level of innovation and collaboration within the crypto ecosystem. And that's what Onyx Protocol is working towards.
It is.
Okay, so they had this grand vision of a fully interconnected crypto world powered by Onyx Protocol.
Right.
But how do they actually plan to make that happen?
Well, it's not like they can just wave a magic wand and make all these different blockchains play nicely together.
It sounds like a really complex challenge.
It requires technical expertise and collaboration with other projects.
What are some of the approaches they're exploring?
Well, they're looking at things like cross-chain bridges, side chains, and even the development of new interoperability protocols.
So it's like building those massive infrastructure projects that connect different countries, like bridges, tunnels, high-speed rail lines.
Yeah, it takes time.
Right.
Resources and a lot of coordination.
But it's not just about the technology, right?
Yeah.
It also requires building consensus and agreement among the different stakeholders in the crypto community.
Yeah, getting everyone to agree on standards and protocols is a crucial step towards achieving true interoperability.
Okay, so let's assume they can pull this off.
Okay.
Paint me a picture of what a fully interoperable Onyx protocol would look like.
All right, so imagine a world where you can seamlessly borrow against your Bitcoin holdings on Onyx Protocol.
Okay.
And then use that loan to purchase an NFT on a completely different blockchain.
Okay.
All within a single transaction.
Wow.
Without having to go through multiple exchanges or intermediaries.
That sounds incredibly efficient.
It would be.
It's like having a universal financial passport.
Yeah.
That gives you access to the entire crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, I like that.
But how would this impact the value of Onyxcoin itself?
I think it could be a major catalyst for growth.
Okay.
As Onyx Protocol becomes this central hub for cross-chain transactions and value transfer, demand for XCN is likely to increase.
Okay.
It could become the fuel that powers this interconnected crypto economy.
So the more interconnected the ecosystem becomes, the more valuable XCN becomes.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like owning stock in the company that builds the roads and bridges.
Yeah.
Connecting a bustling metropolis.
I like that analogy.
But interoperability is still a work in progress.
It is.
There are many challenges and hurdles to overcome.
Well, I think security is a paramount concern.
Okay.
Creating bridges between different blockchains introduces new vulnerabilities that malicious actors could exploit. So Onyx Protocol will need to really prioritize robust security measures and ensure that these interoperability solutions are thoroughly audited and tested.
You don't want those bridges collapsing and causing a financial meltdown.
No, you don't.
What else could hinder their progress?
Well, I think another challenge is regulatory uncertainty.
Okay.
As these interoperability solutions blur the lines between different blockchain ecosystems, it could raise new questions for regulators.
Yeah.
So Onyx Protocol will need to navigate this evolving regulatory landscape carefully and ensure compliance with relevant laws and regulations.
It's like building those bridges across international borders.
Right.
You need to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
And that you're not stepping on anyone's toes.
You don't want to do that.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with the big question.
Okay.
Is Onyxcoin a worthwhile investment?
That is the question, isn't it?
It is.
So we've explored a lot of information.
We have.
The technology, the team, the tokenomics, the potential, the risks.
Right.
Ultimately, the decision is up to you, the listener.
Right.
We've given you the tools, the context, and the insights to make an informed decision.
Right.
So do your own research,
Right.
weigh the risks and rewards,
Okay.
and decide if Onyxcoin aligns with your investment goals
Okay.
and risk tolerance.
Well said. Knowledge is power,
It is.
especially in the wild world of crypto.
It is a wild world.
Remember, the crypto world is full of opportunities, but is also a wild ride. Do your due diligence, stay informed, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Good advice.
And who knows, maybe Onyxcoin will be the key to unlocking that interconnected crypto future we've been dreaming of.
It'd be exciting to see.
It would, and that concludes our deep dive into Onyxcoin.
Great.
We hope you found it informative, engaging, and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
I hope so too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those deep dive questions.
Sounds good.